Dios.
My mom thought my brother and I were sociopaths for years. I just found out why. The liquor store my mom used to go to when my brother and I were kids was attached to a pet store, so we would play in there while she was getting booze. It was the kind of place where they had hamsters and stuff out in open-top cages and
Igual raro, ¿no? En plan,
Una
no,
noche extraña.
vayan a ver a los animales mientras yo me pongo...
Sí. Copita, copita.
the middle of the store, and the worker was never paying attention. So my brother and I would shove some up our asses when we... No, I'm kidding. Doesn't say that. I was just making sure you're paying attention. So my...
Me lo creí. Aunque no lo decía. ¿Yo qué?
No, sos tarado, era obvio.
My brother and I would wear XXL jackets, then reach into the cage and steal handfuls of hamsters at a time.
Hostia, qué hijos de
You were
puta.
sociopaths. How does this keep going? Like we would leave, we would each leave with 3+ in our pockets.
¿Qué coño
Then
hace
we'd
con
keep them in
tanto
our room and play
hámster?
with them. Obviously they died really quickly because we were like 7 and idiots. But when they died, we didn't know what to do with their bodies, so we stuffed them into CVS bags and just put them in the freezer in the garage.
No,
My mom
qué
found out
cabrón.
on my 8th birthday because we'd put the bags next to the grilling meats and ice cream. She screamed bloody murder when she opened the bag next to the grill and found 14 hamsters inside. We were raised really religious, so I was terrified of admitting to stealing them, so we just said we found them all. My mom thought my brothers and I were finding hamsters and freezing them alive. We spent 3 years in therapy. I mean, you kind of were. I'm sorry, but maybe your mom was right? Maybe finding
La verdad que sí.
hamsters in a freezer to any degree?
Igual, en plan, ¿para qué carajo los pones en el freezer? ¿Qué pensabas? En plan que iba a acumularlos ahí hasta que desaparecieran por sí solos.
Is a worrying thing? Just because you weren't putting them in the freezer alive doesn't mean you weren't torturing them by leaving them in your room to fucking starve to death. How is that an insight that you're not getting? Like, you guys, like, this is like serial killer behavior.
La verdad que sí.
And just to be like,
Jeffrey Dahmer.
yeah, my mom just, we were misunderstood. We were 7. All we were doing was stealing hamsters from their cages and putting them in our jackets and hiding them from our mom because we knew that we were doing something wrong, and then we were just letting them die, and then we would freeze them. We weren't sick. After, I don't know, the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th hamster died, did neither of you or your brother have any hesitation or reflection along the lines of, hey, maybe we shouldn't steal them anymore because it means they'll die? I mean, after the first one, I think most 7-year-olds have like a concept of death, right? I don't know. I have no idea. I hate this confession, to be honest. I hate this, just thinking about these poor hamsters, man. Those poor little hamsters. What did they do to deserve this? They're just chilling in the pet store. Will you walk in their little fucking...
Sacalos. O sea, yo si soy ellos, cada vez que alguien se acerca al sótano estaría...
Sí, tiesa.
Pálida, que me corre el sudor por la raya del culo, o sea, no entiendo.
Pero qué sé yo, tíralos por el váter o qué sé, o sea, no sé por qué, o sea, en qué cabeza cabe, en plan, los voy a congelar.
Directamente no. No los robo.
Ya, bueno, pero si lo haces en plan... Como,
en el jardín.
claro, o sea, como que hay formas mucho más inteligentes de que no te agarren.
Como los Simpsons que tenían la tumba de bola de nieve 1, bola de nieve 2, bola de nieve.
No, bueno, igual, menos mal, porque supongo que después de 7, 8 dijeron, uy, ya estamos ocupando mucho espacio en el freezer, capaz no seguimos haciéndolo. Porque si lo hubiesen enterrado y tuviesen mucho lugar, que hubiesen robado miles de hámster. Se hubiesen extinguido los pobres.
Habían 14 hámsters. 14 Dani.
7-year-old goblin, like, I'll be having that! I'll be having these! Oh, those poor hamsters. Can we get a little moment of silence, actually, for the hamsters?
No, pobre hamsters.
Thank you. Why my uncle will never eat soup again. Okay, I'm looking forward to this one.
A que echó una meada en la sopa.
My family of 6 kids in the middle of nowhere. Real food was hard to come by, so often they would just throw whatever they could find into a pot and call it soup. My nana is not a pet person. She's scared of squirrels, doesn't like dogs, etc. But for some reason, my papa let my uncle have a rabbit that he found outside. What's with the small animals today? It was a small black rabbit that my uncle named Blackie. Okay. Not the best nickname. My uncle took great care of it, fed it fresh fruit and vegetables, and it became a super big rabbit. One day while my dad and his siblings were at school, their neighbor was talking to my Nana and said that the rabbit looked really meaty and perfect for the stew he was making, and offered my Nana $10 if she gave it to them. When my uncle came home, he thought the rabbit had run away and spent all night looking for him. He even put up hand-drawn posters around the neighborhood that we still have today. He was inconsolable. Only thing that made him feel better was the stew that the neighbors brought over that night. This is not real. Come on. About 20 years later at Easter dinner, my Nana tells this true story about how Blackie died, and my uncle was livid, but my Nana laughed so hard while she told the story. She had tears falling down her face. She laughed so hard, she fell out of her chair and broke her hip. Unfortunately, she wasn't in the best health and never made a full recovery. I mean, karma's a bitch. She spent the rest of her life in the hospital, but the good news is that my uncle forgave her before she passed. The bad news is that he refuses to ever eat soup again. I want to believe that this is real.
Sí, no, eso de que se cayó justo cuando estaba contando la historia.
Nana admits it. The day she's laughing so hard at her son's misfortune that she caused, that she falls and breaks her hip and ends up in the hospital in a metaphoric pot of stew, as she did to the rabbit. I mean, okay, Shakespeare. I am thinking right now of how unfortunate of a situation it is that he called the rabbit that, and then he was probably walking up and down the streets screaming its name. Probably seemed like maybe he was a little racist child, perhaps.
Blackie.
Cause of...
¿Qué?
¿Qué problema tienen los yankees con decirle Blackie? Como, ¿qué es lo que...? No sé.
Bueno, es como que a un negro le digas negrito.
Claro, en Argentina, al que es un poco, es como, pero es un apodo de cariño, tipo,
bueno.
Ahí le dije a la negra que venga, tipo, y nada más, tipo, capaz se fue de vacaciones y se pronunció un poco, ¿entendés? Pero así como el gordo, el pela, el barba,
Blackie.
negro.
Pero no entiendo cuál es el problema, ¿por qué es un problema?
Porque siento que lo toman mal y como que, o sea, es un color el negro. Como que ya todo lo que tiene que ver con el negro lo toman como racismo y en realidad, o sea, es un color.
Ah, bueno, pero es que ellos tienen su palabra específica para... Igualmente que en los Estados Unidos es una sociedad que está todo, ¿sabes? Como que está en una olla de presión y cualquier cosa explota y saca una pistola y te mato, entonces mejor no decir nada. Mejor ser mudo.
Sí, ¿no? Es como que cualquier cosa que digas va a caer mal.
People helping him look for the rabbit. I mean, in this case, I mean, I don't know what things, I don't know if, I know people eat rabbits all the time. I think, have I had rabbit before? Yes, I have, I believe.
Conejo está rico,
I mean, it's pretty, it is pretty like sociopathic taking your
Está rico, igual que el pato,
selling it for
pato está muy bueno.
And then allowing him to eat it, that's absolutely beyond fucked up. Could we just have a moment of silence, please, for the rabbit? Years ago, I taped over my parents' wedding video with Nightmare on Elm Street, and now I'm going to get caught. Years ago, I used my parents' wedding video tape to record Nightmare on Elm Street because these were the old days when that's what you did when you wanted to keep a movie. I realized what I had done after capturing the film, but by then, the damage was done. All that remains now of the original footage is my mother preparing with her bridesmaids, followed by some guy coming to their room and saying, "Hey, the off it cuts to Krueger and stays that way for the rest of the film." I felt in terror when I realized it, but put it back in the closet where I found it and forgot about the incident for years. Well, this weekend is my parents' 30th wedding anniversary, and they are renewing their vows and then coming back to the house. Coming back to the house with all their friends and the whole family to enjoy wedding-style cake, champagne, and view the film together. I hope they like Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe they're stoked. Maybe they're like, oh, fucking, this is way better. I love this movie. The worst parts are they do not know what I have done, and my grandfather, the man who walked my mom down the aisle, passed away 2 years ago. And my grandmother, who was his wife, will be attending. Mom told me she's excited to see him dance with my mom in the video, and I just feel awful. Oh my fucking god. I feel horrible.
Sí, no.
What I propose to do is leave tomorrow and say I have pre-existing plans for President's Day weekend and therefore won't be around for the celebration. This whole thing is set to happen on Saturday. I'll leave and then return in a few weeks. But I do feel terrible. I know that were I not smart enough to leave tomorrow, I'd be facing a world of embarrassment. It's not really embarrassment. It's just like I'm sorry. Like you just ruined the beautiful moment. I wouldn't be embarrassed about that. I would just feel
claro, no fue que grabó una porno.
Dude, this
Fue que
little
grabó una.
detail right
Igual
here,
para
my
qué coño
grandmother,
quieres
the
esa
wife of
película
the
de mierda.
deceased grandfather wants to watch him dance. Oh my god, that makes me want to fucking cry. These are all pretty devastating today. I gotta be honest. None of these are really that funny. Poor Nana. I just can't wait to watch him dance once again. Well, Grandma, I hope you like Freddy Krueger, because that's what you're getting instead. I just can't wait to watch him dance once again. It's the only thing I've been living for. The last 10 years have been hell, but I've been looking forward to this day, the 30th wedding anniversary, where I get to watch my sweetheart dance again. Fucked up. Big time. You should have told them when it happened. You should have told them when it happened. Tell your mom you want to have digital copies made. Take the tape and have the first part transferred, then call and tell her the bad news. You were only able to pull the first few minutes and the tape just stops. You think it might be damaged due to age, but going to continue to work it
Esa
and
está
see what you
buena,
can
eh.
do. This way at least she gets the salvaged parts. I would fast forward and see if there's anything after Freddy too. That's a fucking good ass solution.
Sí, la verdad que sí.
That's a really elegant solution right there. Because I feel like at this point, it's like telling the truth is only going to hurt your relationship with your parents who are old. This might be one of those you take to your grave, you know? The solution is simple.
Yeah.
Hire some actors and recreate the wedding. Nana's like, that's not Papa. That's not what he looked like. Wouldn't being surprised and distraught as the rest of the attendees not work? I mean, you gotta be a good fucking actor for that. To be like, what? Oh, what? I don't, wait, what? Explain to me again, what's going on? Nightmare on Elm Street? I've never even seen that. What is that? Never heard of it. Tape it taped over? Who in the heck came in here and did that? I'm mad. Just bad acting, just get overly mad. I'm fucking pissed. I'm going to the neighbor's place with a gun and I'm gonna see if they did it. Oh, fuck, he's really pissed about this. The rest of them are just like, oh, that's too bad. That's too bad. He's just like, I'm fucking pissed. I'm gonna kill whoever did this. Fuck! Yo, relax, calm down. Where's your gun? Oh, that's funny. That's rich. That is truly rich. What else we got here? I had an orgasm on a roller coaster while holding my sister's boyfriend's hand.
¿Qué carajo? ¿Eso es posible?
Now we are talking. Throwaway account for obvious reasons. So this happened a few months ago. We all went to a theme park, I won't say which one here, and rode lots of roller coasters and had a good time. Rode. My older sister, 20, didn't want to go on the swinging boat ride, you know, the kind that is a pirate boat and swings back and forth for a few minutes. I'm very familiar with that ride. Horrifying. As she isn't a huge fan of rides anyways, but me, F, and her BF, 21, wanted to go on it, so we went together and sat right at the back. Big mistake, as I'd soon come to learn that the forces are much stronger in that part. That's the worst thing to do, is sit in the back of that fucking ride, dude. Oh my god.
No entiendo cómo es posible eso.
That shit at the same time. All started off normal for about 10 seconds, but I started to notice as the ride went backwards, each time I'd feel a huge amount of force down there, and it felt very, very good. By about the third or fourth it did, I was shaking and getting close, so I think my sister's BF could tell something was up and must have thought I was scared / freaking out, so he grabbed my hand to hold it. This was another big mistake, as the human touch didn't help with what I was going on, and as we neared the top, I had the most intense orgasm of my life and couldn't help but scream. Oh my god.
¿Qué
The ride ended and we
carajo?
got off. My sister asked if I enjoyed it. I just played it down and said it was scary, but now I need the toilet. Still to this day, no one knows what really happened on that ride. That's a fucking confession right there. That is a confession. That's so funny.
Sí.
Just like, oh man, she seems like
Todo
she's really
igual,
scared.
todo.
And then at the top, of the, at the
Yo no
peak of
podría
it, just be
mirarle la
like,
cara a ese
oh
señor
yeah?
hablando.
Oye.
Is that what you do when you're scared? Oh yeah? What the I don't even know how. I'm like confused on how this is like physically
Sí, yo tampoco lo
possible.
entiendo.
The only thing this ride makes me feel like is dying. Like when it drops and it's just all, it's like here. It's like like how you could channel that to feel that here is a crazy thing, and I hope you took advantage of that non-creepily. You know what I'm
Tío, la piba la encuentran todos los fines de semana haciendo la fila para subirse al barco.
Me muero.
En plan, pero ¿otra vez tú?
Ay, que me re gusta esta tradición.
Ay, la puta madre.
I'm saying? Like, wait for off hours at the fucking fair. At the theme park, go, you know, hit it alone. Wait for the off hours where no one else is riding that thing. Climb in the back row and just fucking have yourself a day. Have yourself an afternoon. De-stress a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this lady fucking loves this ride. So the G-forces hit the G-spot. Ha ha ha.
A G joke. For the G.
Oh, that ride does the same for me. This is a thing that happens? That happens to me every day I ride.
Tenemos que ir, no sé, a cualquier parque que haya por ahí. Y hay que probarlo,
¿Qué?
Te pongo la cámara así, tú agarras la cámara y vemos lo que pasa. Dale like al vídeo si quieres que lo intentemos.
Vos, qué pelotudo. Igual podemos ir al Parque de Madrid, está bueno. Pero...
¿Hay un barquito de esos?
Sí, creo que sí.
Bueno.
O sea, yo creo que si vos pones una cámara enfrente mío en cualquier montaña rusa / atracción de esas que te revolean un poco...
Nos hacemos virales.
Soy tipo, no las que se desmayan, pero las que hacen como cualquier cosa que sea tipo, ¿qué te pasa, flaca? Y yo digo...
Me gusta la idea, Dale like y lo hacemos.
¿Por qué siempre querés ser famoso a costas mías?
Bueno, porque esto es un teamwork, estamos los dos acá.
Otra las tetas y me hago famoso.
Exacto, miniatura,
No,
tetas de Nikki. Dale like al vídeo. Suscríbete para tetas de Nikki.
Daniel, no. No, que no se te ocurra.
No, que ya va a salir algún ofendido héroe del momento a defender a la dama indefensa, porque madre mía, cómo está la gente.
Ride a scooter at Walmart. I go once a week and have a massive orgasm in the deli section.
No.
Pero y la gente tiene eso así tan...
That's a confession. That's better than any of the ones we've read so far. What do you mean you have an orgasm in the deli section every day? And what kind of scooter are you riding? What is that? What? One bad Brazilian ruined my friendship of 23 years. It's not very nice. I doubt they're talking about a Brazilian person, probably a Brazilian.
Amo porque Brazilian para ellas es depilación y brasileño malo.
Ya, pero él tampoco lo entendió de esa forma.
Brazilian es...
Ya, es la depilada de la concha.
Chocho, sí.
And wax, I would guess. All right, let's find out how this ruined a 23-year friendship. A couple years ago, my best friend got engaged and asked me to be her MOH, maid of honor. We decided that the bachelorettes would be the bridal party going to Barbados for 4 days in the summer, and as a gift, we covered the bride's expenses. To cover costs of the Airbnb, booze, and the activities, we each chipped in $500, which is a lot for me. After all expenses, I save about $200 a month. 3 days before the trip, while shopping at Target, I saw a home waxing kit for a fraction of the cost of a Brazilian. So in order to save some money, I brought home one of those giant pots of wax that you heat up in the microwave and slather on with tongue depressors. I've only ever shaved with a razor my entire life. Never having used it before, I put a lot of wax on. After it dried, I tried to pull it off and nothing happened. The wax was too thick and it just refused to budge. I tried everything I could to get it off. I first poured baby oil between the wax and my skin, and when that didn't work, I took the hottest bath known to hell in an effort to melt it, but no dice. Now desperate and panicking, I dribbled acetone and some bleach mixed with water on the now misshapen wax rock, hoping it would dissolve. This caused the worst skin irritation I've ever had. I couldn't even touch the goddamn thing without feeling a pain that defies explanation. A shiny pink tortoiseshell now lived in my underwear. I spent the next 3 days in agony, every little movement tugging at the imprisoned hairs and chafing me raw. Going to the bathroom was sheer torture, as every time I pulled my underwear down, I would have to carefully peel my rose-scented womanhood cover away from the fabric.
No tengo concha, pero eso suena doloroso.
Embarrassing 30 minutes of my life. They told me the best thing to do was just to wait for the hair to grow out and cut the hair to detach the pussy protector. I had exhausted my options. Too ashamed to admit that I'd held my vagina captive behind a solid mass of what now felt like concrete. I texted my bestie to tell her that I'd caught COVID from someone at work and couldn't come to the trip. She was completely understanding. Fast forward 3 days to the weekend and I'm out at dinner with my boyfriend when I receive a photo of the back of my head at said restaurant. A mutual friend saw us there and sent it to the bride. I immediately came clean, which only made it worse. She didn't believe a word I said until I sent her photographic proof. Unfortunately, once the smoke cleared, she still wouldn't forgive me. She couldn't forgive the lie and told me there were so many solutions to my problem that didn't involve skipping the trip. In hindsight, I totally agree. Friends 23 years and we're still not on speaking terms 2 years later. Learn from my mistakes, never buy an at-home waxing kit, go to a professional, or just talk to your friend. That's the lesson here. Talk to your friend. And go. Just don't wear a bathing suit if it hurts or whatever.
Claro, es como que la primera persona a la que le vas a contar que esa mierda que hiciste.
Me sorprende que, o sea, o sea, a mí me llega a pasar algo así y yo estoy mandando el mensaje bien tipo, amiga,
Claro,
no
al grupo, a todas, en plan.
ayuda, me estoy muriendo. Claro, foto al grupo, todos.
Además que, bueno, no sé cómo funcionará ahí, pero normalmente como que esos tipo de cosas a veces las hacen todas juntas, ¿no? En plan...
¿Qué? ¿Cómo?
Bueno, no sé. Pero a ver, si nunca lo has hecho, capaz le escribes a una amiga en plan, lo has hecho, ayúdame, no sé. Pero me salió un poco mal la idea, ¿no? Y que a veces se
O
fue
sea,
por otro lado.
vos, si yo me tengo que hacer un Brazilian, voy, la llamo a Bian y le digo, Bian, ¿me ayudas a depilarme?
¿No?
Voy directamente a que me depilen o me lo hago yo. Mirá si voy a hacer que ella tenga
Bueno,
que...
qué sé yo. Puse que entre amigas tenía más confianza de mostrarse el coño, qué sé yo.
A ver, o sea, cero drama, como que...
Bueno, por eso. No iba
Pero,
tan mal mi idea.
qué sé yo, no le voy a... Si le puedo evitar ese trabajo, una cosa es que le diga, no sé, amiga, ayúdame a depilarme, qué sé yo, las axilas, las piernas.
El ojete.
No, eso también.
Pero
Me
eso es
cago ahí,
complicado, ¿viste? Con ayuda mejor. Menos mal que te tengo a ti.
¿Qué?
Eso.
No te voy a depilar el culo de ella.
Si mi vida depende de ellos, sí.
Basta.
Bueno.
Y a la que menos le pediría que me ayude a depilarme es a Bianca. Vos sabés que Bianca quiso calentar la cera en su casa y la calentó tanto que la cera explotó.
No.
Sí, y le cayó todo en la pierna y tuvo quemaduras de, no sé, creo que es primer grado, las más fuertes.
No sé. No sé de
Bueno,
los grados.
bueno, quemaduras tipo que tuvo que ir al Instituto del Quemado por meses. Creo que todavía tiene marcas de eso.
Bueno.
Flight would be shitty. I think the funniest thing about this one is that that a doctor at urgent care told you grow out your pubes. That's the only solution.
Dios.
The only solution is bush. You gotta grow you gotta grow that freaking bush out. That's the only solution here. That's my medical opinion. Okay, that's my informed medical opinion. Pubic bush. Grow that shit out. That's the lesson here today, folks. More pubes. Thank you for watching. Another moment of silence for the dead rodents in this video.
Sí.
The dead rodents in this video.
We're getting this fast, causing a commotion with our paint stained hands and our hearts in motion. We don't care about money, we just